So Dr. Lawrence here with Mary Albrecht, and she is a patient of ours who actually you've been a patient for a while. She first came in as a chiropractic patient probably last year or the year before then. But now that we do a lot of the metabolic work with thyroid patients and people with other type of chronic conditions, we've been doing some work with Mary on some of the problems that she was having as hypothyroid and actually an autoimmune hypothyroid. So, Mary, why don't you talk a little bit about the problems that you were having, thyroid-type symptoms that you were having before we started working on you. It's been almost 3 months now.
Okay. I was diagnosed hypothyroid several years ago. My main symptom and my main complaint was constant fatigue that seemed to get worse as the years went on.
Mm-hmm.
And I, of course, with hypothyroidism, once I finally did get diagnosed, which actually took several years to get diagnosed, went to the endocrinologist and was given Synthroid initially. And I really didn't see, I saw results and I did feel a little bit better, but it wasn't a great leap.
Right.
I felt a little bit better, a little bit more energy.
Mm-hmm.
The other issue was actually, this was many years ago, I'd also put on about 25 pounds and I couldn't seem to lose, and I hadn't changed anything about eating or diet, or my diet or exercising, so I didn't understand that either. But I just started really trying to figure out how to feel better because I never was feeling better. The only answer when I would go to my endocrinologist was to up the meds. Start taking, I did switch from Synthroid to Armor after I started reading about different things. I thought that might help. I thought another route to try. And I felt better definitely with the Armor, but I still felt exhausted and drained all of the time. I had brain fog as the day went on. I would just be so tired. By dinner time, to me, it felt more like bedtime. So my main complaint was energy. Along with that, though, I had other complaints with really dry hair, dry nails, menstrual cycle issues, super dry skin, all hypothyroid symptoms.
Sure.
Which some alleviated, and then the weight did start coming off with the Armor, and once the Armor kept getting upped, the problem was is that the Armor just always kept, every time I'd go back for a checkup, my TSH would be high, so they would up my Armor thyroid pills, which I would feel better initially, which was great. To me, that was a great answer. Take more pills. I can do that.
And then what happened?
And then I'd crash again.
Right.
It would be a quick fix, maybe for a month, and then I wouldn't notice a difference, and I'd feel back to square one again with the fatigue.
And what we figured out with that, too, when we went back and looked at your blood work from a functional perspective, was that you were over-converting and you had way too much active hormone.
Right.
You were actually over-medicated.
And
what was happening was you were being over-medicated, and that was in turn causing some resistance at the cell. So you had so much on board that the cell shut off and wouldn't let it in. So you were going through the vicious cycle that so many other people do, because as soon as you go back and still complain about the same symptoms.
Well, and all they look at really is
the TSH.
I think the main thing they look is TSH, and if that's 3 or higher, then you just give more medicine.
Well, the other thing too with you was that you were having those hyper symptoms, the heart palpitations, the anxiety, that kind of thing.
I was a hypothyroid feeling like a hyperthyroid.
Right.
Heart palpitations, heart racing.
Cell phone. Let it go.
Cell phone, let it go.
Yeah, let it go. We're alive.
So the heart palpitations, heart racing where it would wake me up at night.
Yeah.
Which that would confuse me, because when I would Google symptoms of hypothyroid, the heart palpitations really were more hyperthyroid.
And one of the hallmarks of Hashimoto's, which is what you have, the autoimmune thyroid, is that you have both symptoms of hypo and hyper.
Yes.
Although yours were really aggravated by the fact that you were taking too much stuff.
And that's what would confuse me, because then I didn't know what to do, because to me, when I would look at what the symptoms were for each one, I could,
you were
check
all over
off
the
several
place.
in both.
And that makes total sense to me, though.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Didn't to me.
So now that we've gotten you on our program, made some big dietary changes. And I know that's always a daunting task, especially we had our discussion about coffee, Mary's big coffee. Well, both of us were really
live on
over
coffee.
the years. Yeah, both of us. We have a coffee. We have a coffee maker in the office, but we don't use it so much for coffee anymore. We use it more for hot tea. But
we had just to open the eyes in the morning.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So now that we've made those changes, how hard was it?
In the beginning, I was overwhelmed.
Okay.
But I started small. Already when I came here, I already felt that there was merit in eating organic. Mm-hmm. So I'd already kind of invested in that, and not eating out, no fast food. So I actually, when I came here, felt that I ate well. Mm-hmm.
Relatively so, yeah.
I think comparatively speaking. Mm-hmm. But I think doing it in small steps, I think the first thing back in November I think I actually stopped the coffee and the gluten at the same time. Mm-hmm. It was roughly the same time. I actually think I stopped the coffee a little bit before. And I have been on coffee for almost 18 years, several cups a day. And there was a time when I felt really sick where I had a coffee pot in my classroom and I drank it all day long. And it was just to
keep you going.
It was to keep me awake.
Right.
It got to the point where I almost didn't feel it, but I also knew if I didn't drink it, I'd also get a bad headache. So I had to drink it in addition. But I quit the coffee, had a headache for several days, didn't feel very well. But it was around the same time, too, that you had really talked to me about gluten. Mm-hmm. So I'd also stopped the gluten, so I'm not sure, what it was. But now I don't crave. That was November, and we're in January. So I don't crave coffee at all. I could go to Starbucks and get a tea or a water. It doesn't bother me. I don't need it.
And you found it to be easier now that you've been gluten-free for a while. That's probably...
Well, and the amazing thing, too, is, I did admit to you that I slipped up that one time.
Yes.
And I did have that Starbucks after I hadn't had it. I think it had been about a month. It was sometime in December. I had a lot going on, was very busy. I was feeling exhausted. So I did it. I went and I got it, and I felt so sick afterwards. I felt horrible. I ended up getting a horrible headache, body aches, everything. I felt awful. So to me, I have no desire to drink coffee.
Not worth it.
No, I'm fine with organic green tea.
So what are the big changes that you've seen since we've started you on this program?
Huge changes, energy-wise, mood-wise. We haven't really touched on the mood, but when you're exhausted all of the time, you're not exactly the happiest person all of the time when you're constantly drained. Definitely, I think I'm eating more. I eat every 2 to 3 hours. I don't allow myself to go any longer than that. I pack my own lunches. I actually, for work, I very often, lately what I've been doing is packing even a breakfast. So I pack a breakfast, a mid-morning snack, a lunch, and a mid-afternoon snack to take to work. Because
blood sugar is huge. And with Mary, that was a big part of what's making her better, is that her blood sugar was just all over the place, and you can't function like that. The brain needs a constant, source of fuel. So that was one of the big things that we worked on with you, and that's just made a world of difference in your mood and just in your energy in general.
That's been incredibly
And huge. I think you've also lost, not that you needed to, because you were a nice weight for yourself to begin with, but you've taken off a few pounds, too.
Yeah, nice side effect.
Yeah, one of the bonuses of being healthier.
Bonus.
Without really trying, and not like you were dieting. It just naturally just came off.
I'm eating more than I've ever eaten in my life. I don't diet. I don't even consider
So are you
it a diet.
hungry?
I'm never hungry.
Yeah.
I'm never hungry, and I don't even crave the things that I thought I would crave. I don't crave. The things that I thought I could live without, especially the coffee. I crave starches, bagels and cream cheese, being from New York, things like that. Anything starchy, to me, that's comfort food. So when you told me about you mentioned gluten to me a year ago, and I just thought there's no way I can do it.
Right.
It's not even possible. And it's very possible, and I don't crave it. And I could cook something for my kids that has gluten in it, or I can make pasta for them, and I'm not even tempted to eat it.
Sweet. That's the best part.
Yeah, the craving's not even there. And effort-wise, I don't really feel that it's an effort, because to me, I'm feeling better. So
it's worth it.
It's totally.
You see the advantage. You can do it easier if you see that you're feeling better because of it.
Yeah.
And I know I've known you for a couple of years now, and I know there's been a huge change. You're just much more level.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And that's
Talk
awesome.
to my kids.
That's how you.
Very level. The blood sugar's good.
Excellent.
Even, my job is extremely hectic, and I'm on my feet all day. You get about 20 minutes for lunch. That was my huge thing. I was like, how can I even, I'm supposed to eat every 2 to 3 hours. I'm a teacher. I'm up and I'm talking. How am I going to do this? I'm doing it fine.
Yeah.
My kids know I can teach and I
Yep.
can eat an apple or
It's
eat a
all
vegetable.
together. So the moral of the story that Mary's trying to pass on to everybody out there is it's totally doable, even if you think it sounds totally overwhelming, because a lot of things you're going to have to do
Even
to get
when
well.
your schedule's very, very hectic and you're already very maxed
And
out.
it's worth it.
It is worth it.
It's worth it because you're going to feel better.
Because now I have energy for my already maxed out schedule.
So you can pack some more stuff in there. No, we're not going to do that.
No, please no.
All right.
Overscheduled.
All right, we're going to check back with Mary in I'd probably say a couple months, because we have some things that we're working on her as far as gut-wise and some pathogens and stuff. And then we're going to check back with her as we get those things straightened out. See how much better she's doing then. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.